Hey guys, it's Justin again from the SAUER Academy. Today we're going to be talking about handgun selection considerations. As you can see, there's a lot of options out there. Sometimes the choices can be overwhelming. So our goal today is to just give you a brief overview of some things you should be considering prior to going into the gun shop to make your first purchase. So first thing you want to talk about or consider is the purpose of the gun. What is it for? Because that's going to drive you down the road on a selection process and start to weed out some of the options that are out there. Defensive, competitive shooting, concealed carry, or just target shooting for fun with friends and family. All of those have different options. After you've figured out your purpose, the next thing you should consider is possibly the action type or how the gun actually operates. So you can get a hammer-fired gun or a striker-fired gun. With the hammer-fired guns, there's double action and single action, or single action only. Be sure to do your research on which would be the best fit for you and the purpose for which you're buying the gun. After you've figured out the action type, the next consideration, once you've kind of narrowed down where you're going, is probably the fitment of the gun. When we refer to fitment, we want to make sure that it fits the shooter's hand as best as possible, because that's going to have a direct correlation with how accurate and successful you are ultimately when you go to shoot the gun. So when I refer to fitment, two of the biggest things that I'm referring to are the space created for my support hand. Once my dominant hand has gripped it, I want to make sure that I have a little bit of space here so that my support hand can come in underneath and I can get as much surface area on the gun as possible with my hands. The next thing that's important as far as fitment goes is you want to make sure that you can reach the full front face of the trigger, whichever finger is going to be pulling the trigger. That's subjective as far as how deep or shallow you go on the trigger itself. As a general baseline, I want to make sure I can reach it so that I have enough finger on the trigger to pull it from front to rear without moving the sights left, right, up, or down. That's also the secret to shooting. If I have too much finger on it, chances are the gun may be too small. If I can barely reach the trigger, possibly too big. So after you've figured out the right fitment, caliber is probably the next decision you need to make. Generally speaking, 9mm, 40, 45, 357 SIG, all good calibers for shooting. However, generally, the bigger the caliber, the higher the price in the bullet. If you're going to be shooting competitively or just for fun and want to get a lot of practice, it's hard to argue with the cost effectiveness of the 9mm round. However, they all are great rounds. They're all going to work. Just make sure that you understand if you do go with a bigger caliber, less magazine capacity is available for the gun because it's a bigger round, and it's also going to be more expensive, so there are some budget constraints as well. Last but not least, sighting options. Don't overlook that. Generally speaking, you want to make sure you have some kind of night or low light capability through your sights. On top of that, you have options like fiber optic or to go with a red dot system. So pistol mounted optics are on the forefront of a lot of people's minds right now. They're a great system, however they do add to the overall cost of the pistol that you're going to purchase. You can get them pre-milled on the gun when you purchase it, or you can buy them as an aftermarket product. Just remember they are going to add to the overall price. Alright guys, so hopefully that gives you a good baseline on handgun selection considerations. Our job today was to just give you an overview so that you have the ability to make a more informed decision going into your local gun shop before you make your purchase. For more tips, training, and information, please visit the SAUER Academy. Come take a class with us.